The World Cup has officially kicked off, and football fans around the world have been gathering around their TVs to watch the best of the best square off on the ultimate stage. And any sports fan worth their salt will tell you that nothing helps the sports viewing experience more than a cold beer or two. Hey, this is Ryan with Beer by the Numbers, and this week I'm bringing you 5 World Cup related beer news items, so that beer nerds have plenty to talk about while sipping a cold one and watching the global game. Let's get started. A lot of brewery and bar goers complain that people spend more time on their phones than they do talking to one another over some beers. Well, one brewery is trying to change that for fans obsessed with the latest World Cup updates on their phones. Swedish beer Norrland Guld took a special malt-based ink printer and has begun printing World Cup tweets onto beers in select bars all across Sweden. Malt-based printing is a new technology, but the real groundbreaking thing here is that they program the printers to seek out active World Cup tweets via Wi-Fi, and then automatically print them onto beers after only a few minute delay. So if you're tweeting about the World Cup at any point this year, just know that it may end up on someone's beer in Sweden. The World Cup host country, Russia, has had a struggling beer market for years. They've had several years of mid-digit volume decreases as Russians turn more towards wine and spirits. So the principal beer sponsor of the World Cup, AB InBev, is betting big on an ad campaign to reach Russians and football fans around the globe. In select markets, AB InBev is selling and giving away beer cups that light up and change shade depending on how loud the cheering is in the room around them. The idea is to get your friends and family to cheer for your favorite teams and ensure whoever does so the loudest and longest gets bragging rights. This is a pretty unique, interactive drinking vessel for sure, and you're going to want to cheer on your team as each cup holds 500 milliliters of beer. And I know that much beer tends to get me pretty excited. Time will tell if this can help AB InBev boost its sales against the huge wave of craft competitors around the globe, though. Speaking of Russians and drinking, even though they're drinking less beer in the host country, they certainly aren't afraid of the booze. The average man in Russia drinks some 32 liters of ethanol in a year, equivalent to more than 80 liters of vodka. The problem is so bad that Russian men have one of the lowest life expectancies in the world, lower even than famine-friendly North Korea. In 2005, Russia's government banned alcohol sales and ads at sports stadiums, but as many host countries have learned in the past, the World Cup demands you sell beer. Russia has temporarily lifted its sports alcohol ban for the World Cup, allowing FIFA and its sponsors to sell beer exclusively. Russia has also relaxed their beer advertising laws through 2019 to accommodate sponsors. This has made law enforcement a little nervous, however. The 2014 World Cup had several drunken brawls between fans in the relatively friendly country of Brazil, but Russian football hooligans are notoriously violent. In 2016, Russians were involved in one of the worst ever instances of violence at an international soccer tournament, when hundreds of well-trained Russian fans fought hundreds of drunk English fans in the streets of Marseille, France during the UEFA Euro 2016 championships. At least 35 people were injured, and 2 English fans were left in comas after being attacked by Russians armed with iron bars and hammers. After Marseille, French authorities banned alcohol in closed bars and liquor stores around the stadium for the next Russian-England match. I, for one, am hoping everyone can enjoy their beers and the matches this year without incident. Speaking of those English fans, though, Budweiser has offered a free beer to every English football fan this summer, should England take home the cup. The American beverage brand could be on the hook for up to 50 million bottles of beer to UK adults. Liverpool legend and former World Cup competitor Steven Gerrard is acting as Budweiser's ambassador in the UK for this campaign, and he, like millions of Brits, will be cheering very loudly for their team as they take on Group G of Belgium, Panama, and Tunisia. Although it might be a tough road for them, I, for one, am always rooting for free beer. Finally, one football fan loves beer so much, he's been trying to create the World Cup in beer. Gus Hulley of Cheltenham in the UK has been collecting one lager from every competing country. That's a total of 32 different beers, from the hosts Russia and the tournament's favorites Germany, Brazil, and Spain, to far-flung countries like Panama, Senegal, and Uruguay, and even nations like Iran and Saudi Arabia, where boozing it up is illegal. Gus's combined love for beer and football has seen him traipse all across London, all over the UK, and even to Paris and Barcelona to get his hands on a brew from each country. And it's set him back around 500 pounds and has forced him to travel thousands of miles, and the beers have traveled even further. He calls in favors from a network of well-traveled friends who transported the beer back home from Central America and North Africa, and he even reached out to some helpful strangers through social media to get him across the finish line. But now, he is the proud owner of a collection of beers that will help him enjoy all the matches even more. And it would be really cool to review all of these beers too, in this Beer Nerd's opinion. So there you have it, 5 World Cup beer stories. Are you excited for the World Cup, or do you just like trying a bunch of different beers? Let me know down in the comments section below. Once again, this has been Ryan with Beer by the Numbers, and I'll see you next week with more sporting beer content.